So what if I told you that you could own a vintage dress watch from a luxury brand like Omega, Longine or Tissot for around 500 euros. And these watches have incredible character that you just can't buy today. And if that sounds interesting to you, then I think you need a vintage dress watch and you should watch this video. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Watch Scientist channel. It's Chris and thank you so much for stopping by again. You know the deal. If you're enjoying the video, hit that thumbs up. If you have any thoughts, leave them in the comments below, and if you really want to show us that you like our videos, then please subscribe. So let's get straight into this. If you are thinking about getting a dress watch, then let me tell you that you must consider a vintage dress watch. Like a year ago, dress watches were not really my thing. I was not really looking to buy a dress watch. I didn't really see how it would fit into my collection, as I don't really wear suits that much. I don't really go to fancy dinners that much, and I just didn't think that I would need a dress watch in my life. And I mean, you don't need a special occasion to wear a special watch, and you definitely don't need a dressy occasion to wear a dress watch, in my opinion. I think you can easily wear dress watches in a kind of casual attire. So like I said, I wasn't really actively searching for a dress watch, but then I started to look around on Chrono24 and I started to realize that you can get luxury brand watches in a gold-plated case, so like this Longine, in a smaller size, so the dress watch format, for around 500 euros. I mean, I got this Longine for 300 euros last winter. And I think that's amazing value for money. If you want a luxury watch or a luxury brand watch, most of them are quite expensive, and you kind of don't find watches from these brands way below 1,000 euros, except if you go into vintage watches. And in that sense, I think these vintage dress watches are a great way to kind of get into the luxury sector or buy your second luxury watch or whatever. I think this is a great way to own a luxury brand watch and at the same time own your first vintage dress watch. And don't get me wrong, if you want a first luxury watch that is going to be your daily watch, then definitely don't buy a vintage dress watch. This is of course not going to be your daily beater, because many things that you would like from a daily watch is not what you're going to get from these vintage watches. You will not get the water resistance, and you will not get the robustness that we see in modern watches, and you will probably not get a watch that's as accurate as a modern watch. I mean, I don't know how accurate my vintage watches are, but to be honest, I don't really care about it. If I decide to wear it for one day, I really enjoy wearing it, and I don't mind if it loses a couple of seconds or minutes during the day. Because, like I said, this is not going to be my daily watch, and this shouldn't be your daily watch. But, like I said, if you like to rotate around your collection, then having one of these watches is just amazing. And I mean, if you are looking for a dress watch anyway, I think this is a perfect way to make it a luxury brand dress watch. And let me tell you, you just can't buy this type of character and history from new. I mean, you have to go vintage if you want that kind of old school styling, and if you want your watch to look like it has had a life. I mean, there's nothing quite like a nicely patinaed watch from the 60s or 70s, because back then they had completely different style of building watches, and I mean, it just looks like nothing you could buy today. And still, it's a luxury brand, still it's a Longine, it's gold plated, and it just looks classy as hell, if you ask me. And I think many people are staying away from vintage watches in general because they think that they will be too expensive, and I thought the same. But I came to realize that you can get many luxury vintage watches for around 500 euros. Of course, you can't expect a new old stock Omega Seamaster for under 500 euros. But you can certainly get a patina, which some people don't like. But if you ask me, it really just adds to the character of the watch. You can get a patina watch for under 500 euros from a luxury brand. I mean, I'm repeating myself, but I think this is just so cool. And one thing I also mentioned in another video, I was so surprised of how refreshing it can be to wear a smaller size watches, so 36 or even 34 millimeters between your other watches. So I'm wearing my Steinhardt Ocean GMT 500 and it's around 39 millimeters, and it feels completely different the next day if I put on one of these watches. It takes a bit of getting used to, I have to admit. When I got this watch, I was a little worried that it would be too small, but you get used to it right away. Like after 2 hours of wearing, these watches are just comfortable to wear. You don't really think about them if they're on your wrist, but you keep looking at your wrist because they look so interesting and they have so much character in them. So the first vintage watch I bought, this Longine, and I saw it on Chrono 24. It's nicely patinaed. It has alpha hands, which are my favorite kind of hands. It has these fancy lugs, which I think look amazing, and they make the 34 millimeter case seem a little larger because they extend out quite far. And I mean, it has applied markers, which is something I really like. It has an applied logo. It always makes the dial more interesting, in my opinion. I prefer this to a printed dial. After that, I got this Omega with a 286 caliber, and I mean, this is a full gold Omega, so it's definitely not under 500 euros, but you can find many Omegas that almost look like this in gold plated cases or even stainless steel cases that just look so cool. They have so much interesting patina. They look so characterful, and I don't know, I think everyone should own one of these watches if they want a dress watch. But don't take it from me, just go onto Chrono 24, and just to give you a head start, I mean, you can look at Tissot Anti-Magnetic, Camping, Viso Date. You can look at different Longine watches, the Omega 30 T2 watches. They can offer you a level of watch that you just wouldn't get from new, and you can't get from new, around 500 euros, which I think is a great price to own maybe your first luxury watch, maybe your first gold watch, gold plated, whatever, or your first dress watch. And I think, I mean, it's just something different, you know. If you see someone outside with a vintage dress watch that is dressed casually, you will think to yourself, damn, that kind of looks cool. And it's not the random ass steel sports watch that you see all the time everywhere. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in for this maybe short video. I'm not sure yet. I hope you enjoyed it. If you stuck around, you kind of enjoyed it apparently, so remember to leave a like. It really helps us out a lot. And I mean, I'm always open to discussion. We are both open to discussion, so please, if you have any thoughts, if you have any other recommendations also from these types of vintage watches, please leave them in the comments below so the others can also see it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.